you. Item number 2 is we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for Alderman Solis saying the pledge, or saying the prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we ask you this evening that you bless us and give us the knowledge so that we may do the right thing. We know that there's a lot of issues, a lot of things that come our way. We just ask that you guide us in your Son's holy name, so we do right by this city in your Son's holy name, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Item number 3 is approval of the minutes. 3.1 are minutes of the March 16th meeting and March 30th meeting. If there's no additions or corrections, I'd go ahead and entertain a motion to approve.
So move.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Item number 4 is communications. I don't believe we have any communications this evening. So item number 5 is public comment. Citizens at this time may address the chair at this point of the meeting. Please limit your comments to items on the agenda and for no more than 3 minutes maximum. All I would ask is for you to state your name and address for the record. Anyone wish? Sue? I recognize you behind that mask.
Hi, I'm Sue Kitzman, 303 South 3rd Street. I just want to take the opportunity to thank Alderman Henriette, Mayor Henriette, for those of us that were staff members for many years. He was a wonderful person to talk to, who always thought out the advice of the staff, and we certainly appreciated that. Thank you.
Thanks, Sue. The first round of applause throughout tonight, I'm sure.
There'll be a lot of them, I think.
Jack?
Jack Bay, resident of the city of Delavan and taxpayer. It's my distinct privilege to be the first to congratulate everybody that has won election. It certainly is a great thing when you want to serve your community. Many have advocated, my wife and myself. We appreciate that. And I just wanted to be the first because it's we the people who elect you. So therefore, I steal some of the mayor's thunder. Thank you.
Thanks, Jack. Anyone else wish to speak at this time? David?
David Henriette, 404 East Wisconsin Street. Sue, you beat me to it. I'm 47. My dad's been involved in the city for 44 years. So first and foremost, thank you, Dad, for everything you've done for the city. You made it a better place for us to grow up in. Also, what you've instilled in me and Kim, the public service. You know, Kim's on the Historical Society and I'm on our Lincoln School Board. So public service runs in our family. And once again, Dad, enjoy retirement from this.
Would anyone else at this time like to speak under public comments?
I'm going to cry.
Give me a break.
All right. With that, we'll move on to item number 6, reports of committees, boards, commissions, and the Delavan Darien School District update. 6.1 is Finance Committee and Treasurer's Report. Alderwoman Deschner-Brandt.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Finance Committee met on April 13th at 5 o'clock. Our next meeting will be on May 11th at 5. There's a number of items on tonight's agenda. The minutes of the meeting are in file with the City Clerk for public inspection. And at this time, I would make a motion to approve the Treasurer's Report.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Moving on to item number 6.2, General Operations, Alderman Henriot.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. General Operations met on Tuesday, April 13th, and many of the items that we will be discussing will be on tonight's agenda. Our next meeting will be Tuesday, May 4th at 4:30 or 5:30 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Henriot. Item 6.3 is the Planning Commission, Alderman Beazer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Planning Commission met on April 5th, and the meeting minutes are on file with the city clerk. If anyone has an interest in looking them over, you're more than welcome. A number of the items will actually be on today's agenda to just review. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Beazer. 6.4 is Public Works, Alderwoman Deschner-Brandt.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Public Works met on March 23rd at 5:30. The committee reviewed inventory of alleys, parking lots, traffic signals, bridges, and city buildings. A couple of other items that were discussed will be addressed under the Finance Committee items tonight. Our next meeting is April 27th at 5:30.
Thank you, Alderwoman Deschner-Brandt. Item 6.5 is Town of Delavan Lake Committee, Alderman Henriot.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Town of Delavan Lake Committee met on April 7th, Wednesday. They discussed their up-and-coming dredging project for the Bound Road area. And their next meeting will be Wednesday, May 5th at 7:30 p.m. at the Town of Delavan Town Hall. Anyone that would like to attend those meetings, they're open to the public. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Henriot. Moving on to item 6.6 is the Library Board of Trustees, Alderwoman Deschner-Brandt.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Library Board of Trustees met on April 15th at 5:30. We discussed repairs that are needed for the roof and looked at some pictures of leakages in the library, some of which were shut off, others were repaired. Michelle Carter also shared some pictures or some of the library data with the board. A comparison was viewed between Aaron Public Library and other surrounding libraries with the same use rates. Our next meeting is May 20th at 5:30.
Thank you, Alderwoman Deschner-Brandt. Item 6.7 is Park and Recreation Committee, Alderman Purcell.
Thank you, Mayor Ryan. Not too much going on. We got a lot of stuff going on, but if you want to go to the website, you can see what's going on. We're going to meet April 26th, I think, at 5:30. We got baseball, softball, stuff like that's going on. But there wasn't too much at the last meeting, so.
All right. Thank you, Alderman Purcell. Item 6.8 is Communications Commission, Alderman Solis.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We haven't met since our last council meeting. We've been having a little struggle on some things, but I think we finally got us something set up. So our next meeting is Monday, May 10th at 5:30 here in the Chancellor Converse.
Thank you, Alderman Solis. Item 6.9 is the Delavan Downtown Project Management Team, Alderwoman Deschner-Brandt.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We met on March 23rd at 7 o'clock. We're working to review and finalize the Connect Communities position for this year. We approved some funding for the music during the May 22nd truck show and wine walk event. Should be a really great day downtown. We're hoping for some really good weather. The Lions Club is hoping for some really good money. So we hope to see you guys all down there for that event. And our next meeting it's on April 27th, but I know in the notes it says 28th at 7 o'clock.
Thank you,
The
Alderwoman.
27th?
Yeah.
Thank you, Alderwoman Deschner-Brandt. Item 6.10 is the Delbrook Golf Commission. Alderman Henriot?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Delbrook met on Thursday, March 18th and on April 15th at the Delbrook Clubhouse. They discussed the clubhouse renovations, which have been going on for the last year, and the Golf Now mobile app that they are installing out there for us. And Removal, we have removed about 100 trees so far this year. We moved another one just last week, which opened up some additional parking spaces out there by the building. And our next meeting is on Thursday, May 20th at 5 o'clock PM, and you're all invited to attend. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Henriette. Item 6.11 is the Tourism Commission. Alderman Henriette.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We haven't met since the last council meeting. However, our next meeting is Friday, April 23rd at 7:30 a.m. And you are once again all invited to attend if you'd like to. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Henriette. 6.12 is the Delavan Darien School District update. Dr. Jill Sorby let me know that she was not able to make an update. I don't, we've got a school board member. I don't know if, I hate to put you on the spot, but I don't know if there's anything that's really worth, and if so, if you want to just come to the podium real quick.
Sure. Tell us how much you made.
Not much is going on within the school, other than, I know some social media folks have been out there with the renovation of the front of the building. We approved that project back, a little over a month ago, so we could get in before the price increase on the steel siding that we're putting up. That's been one of our goals, since I've been on board for the last couple of years, is one, maintain our buildings and get them up to snuff. We really stress to people to, as you are all doing here, come to our meetings. You'll actually find out a lot about what's going on. The district is in the right path, though, from where we were years ago, and it's overall a good place to be. We're seeing some growth here. We're not losing the kids like we were in the past, and things are on the uptick throughout the district. But the renovation of Warwick Stadium will begin May 1st is when it's projected, if they can get out and start cutting ground. I did see stakes and stuff that were out there today as I was up visiting with the administration. So stuff is being laid out, and if we can get the project going a little bit earlier, we will, but also that's another initiative. That's all I've got.
All right.
Will it be complete before varsity football?
The project, we were told, is 6 months to completion. That does not mean, I couldn't tell you with the weather and everything, Paul. There may be, from my understanding, we may have concessions, or not have concessions. The concession building may not be completed, but the track and field may be done at middle of August, September. So we could be playing there in September, but I can't make any guarantees. That's all weather dependent and construction dependent, so.
Okay.
But they did say it would be 6 months. So when we did that math, we always said, well, that's October. That doesn't make it real good for us being able to look at playing, but that's what we're hoping for.
Thank you, David. Item number 7 is other business. I don't believe we have any other business at this time. Item number 8 is presentation by the mayor, and I do want to take a moment here to make a couple of presentations. In addition to Alderman Henriette joining us officially here for his last official meeting as an alderman, we also have, as many of you know, Denise Peroni, our city administrator, who's also here this evening, and at her last meeting with us officially as well, although I think both of these individuals are still, you'll still see them around. I'm sure they'll still be actively involved. I know Alderman Henriette and Denise will plan to stay around here, and we appreciate the continued service and involvement. I want to, as it relates to Denise, for me personally, Denise is the 5th city administrator that I've had the pleasure of working with and serving with, and Denise has been with us now for 10 years, and I think I really appreciate not only Denise, but anyone in this position. Is not easy, especially to serve 10 years. That's the longest tenured administrator that I've had the opportunity out of the 5 to work with, and I think it says a lot about Denise and the fact that councils come and go. The individuals change. There's lots of egos and personalities and that sort of thing, and to weather all that, I think this says a lot about Denise, and I appreciate, and I know the council does, not only the current council, especially in this year where we've had with the exception of Alderman Henriette, a very inexperienced, as far as years of experience go, from the aldermen and the rest of the council itself. I think having Alderman Henriette and Denise serve in these roles have helped us get through the last year, a very challenging year that we all can relate to and realize, and the first in 100 years of that any of us hopefully will ever have to see. And so one of the things that we've kind of started out front is recognizing bricks, and so I'd at this time like to present a certificate of recognition to Denise Peroni in recognition of 10 years of service as city administrator for the city of Delavan, and with that there'll be a brick placed out front of City Hall in your honor. So thank you for your service, and I don't know, you may want to say a few words yourself, but I'd like to present you the certificate at this time.
I'll keep this brief, but I do want to thank the community for letting me serve the community for 10 years. It's been a really enjoyable experience, and I will miss it. But I know that I think you'll have a great new administrator coming in and new ideas, and it'll be really good for the community too to see some changes and have other perspectives. But it's been really wonderful, and I, again, thank the community for giving me that opportunity.
Thank you again, Denise. Next, and this boy, when they say things come full circle, this one definitely comes full circle. I back in, I think, 1997, a young kid approached Mayor Henriette wanting to get involved, and he was gracious enough to put me on the Mayor's Youth Advisory Committee. I mean, that committee no longer exists, but it definitely served a great purpose, and that was under the direction and leadership of Mayor Henriette during that time when some of those activities, especially as it related to the downtown and elsewhere throughout the city, needed to be addressed, and he stepped up and created that and gave myself and many other other individuals opportunities to serve their community, and then got elected a couple years after that, and still had the pleasure of serving under Mayor Henriette. And he has, as many, Sue and his son David pointed out, definitely lived here all of his life, raised here, and made lots of great contributions to the community that will last long beyond his years of service. And I think I'm going to present a plaque here, and this just recognizes the official years of service as an elected official for alderman prior, and then mayor, and now more recently alderman. But as was pointed out, he had served many years prior to being elected and made great contributions. And the nice thing about it is he's not fully retiring, because, as I said, full circle, he's agreed to stay on and serve on a couple of other boards and commissions, and I appreciate it. It says a lot about him personally. I'm sure he's in a category all of his own. When it comes, I can't think of too many mayors that have served as mayor that later come back and serve again as alderman. It says a lot about his commitment to serving others and making a difference in our community. So I've got a couple of things here, and I will read off and present Again, to Ronald Henriott in recognition and appreciation of 21 years of dedicated service to the city of Delavan and its people as mayor, alderman, and as council president, 2014 to 2021 most recently, mayor from 1994 to 2002, and prior to that also as alderman from 1988 to 1994. So again, many years of service to our community, and also with that, Ron is very deserving of a brick that also will be in recognition of his 21 years and be placed out in front of City Hall. I thought that was really important, and he definitely has deserved that recognition, and so that will be in front of City Hall. So thank you, Ron.
I didn't always love this job. But I had some really, really nice people that I had to work with. I don't know what else to say about it. It's been a long time. It's something I've enjoyed. I wish more people would get involved with what we have here, but it's been a good ride. Thank you.
Thank you again.
And we're trying to get Ron to pay back all the money he made out of the city tomorrow night.
I'm already in debt.
Well, thank you again, Denise and Ron, again for your service. We appreciate it. The community appreciates it. And with that, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn, sign die.
Second?
There's a motion and
Motion.
and a second. All in favor, signify by stating aye.
Aye.
We'll take a little break and. So with that, I would officially call the organizational meeting to order. Has the meeting been properly posted and the roll been taken? Thank you. Item number 2 is swearing in. Andy?
Let's start with Alderman Purcell down there.
Yes.
Repeat after me. I, Thomas Purcell,
I, Thomas Purcell,
swear that I will support
swear I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States,
and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
and will faithfully and impartially
and will faithfully and impartially
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of alderperson for the city of Delavan
of alderperson in the city of Delavan
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
I, Carrie Deshner Brandt,
I, Carrie Deshner Brandt,
swear that I will support
swear that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
and will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of alderperson for the city of Delavan to the best of my ability, so help me God.
so help me God.
And Mr. Plazak. I, Michael Plazak,
I, Michael Plazak,
swear that I will support
swear that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
and will faithfully and impartially
and will faithfully and impartially
discharge the duties of alderperson
discharge the duties of alderperson
for the city of Delavan
for the city of Delavan
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
They get stars already. Get to look up at you now.
There you go. Stephen, you might want to put a
Cedar isn't very soft.
Keep your speech under 20 minutes now.
2 drummers on the council? I don't know.
We'll be banging on
You're right between us.
All right. Moving on to item number 3 then is mayor's comments. I just would once again say congratulations to all of this side of the council here for our aldermen that have been reelected, and thank you for choosing to serve your community and continue service. And two of our Alderman Purcell and Alderman Deschner Brandt are coming back as reelected, and now with the new addition of Michael Plazak. So congratulations again to all 3 of you.
Thank you.
Briefly, I just would say that, as I kind of said at the first portion of our meeting, and actually Jack, I don't know, Jack, oh yeah, there's Jack, said it too, is that we all serve and work for you, the voters. And it is nice, and I know Alderman Henriette pointed out this too, is that it's hard. It's hard to find people that are willing to sit up in the hot seats here and give back to their community. And I don't think anyone's doing it for the money, both currently or before us. And it is very rewarding, and I know that's why several of you chose to run again and got reelected, and that's why Michael has chosen to run and get elected himself. And with that, I think over the last year, as I alluded to too, it's this last year has been very challenging for all of us, and yet we've seen some really remarkable and good positive things go on. Everything from reinvestment, redevelopment in our historic downtown area. After years of, the old 5 and dime sitting idly, we saw someone willing to reinvest and redevelop it, and it won't be long before we have a new business in the downtown at that location, as well as the movie theater. And as David pointed out too, we've seen a lot of residential new single-family homes being built, more in this last year than we had seen in years prior to that combined, and which is also remarkable given that some of the barriers to COVID, I mean, everything from the prices of lumber and getting things on order as far as coming into your homes. I've heard that from contractors, and yet the fact that we've had 20, a little over 20 new homes built in just the last 12 months is remarkable. And also with that, new businesses coming to town and existing businesses looking at doing additions and creating new jobs. And a lot of it, I've talked about this, the council has heard me say this. It's one, we've got great staff, we've had experienced staff, and we're all working together as a team. And that's really what has, I think, propelled us in a very challenging year, and will continue to make positive things for Delavan's future in the years ahead. So I look forward to working with this new council and continuing the work that, in some regards, we've already started. And as Denise pointed out too, when there's changes, there's new ideas and fresh ideas, and that's great, and we welcome that as well. And I look forward to working with this council and getting great things done in the future. So thank you all. With that, we will move on to item number 4, which is Planning Commission 4.1 is consider a request for a conditional use permit for indoor sales or service land use at 1456 East Geneva Street in the Business Regional BR zoning district with a wellhead protection overlay. Applicant Larissa Memek, Harbor Freight Tools. Alderman Beazer, I don't know if you're...
Sure.
I would like to make a motion to approve the proposed resolution and the conditional use findings listed below under conditional use findings, and the issuance of a conditional use permit for indoor sales or service land use for the property at 1456 East Geneva Street, located in the Business Regional BR zoning district with a wellhead protection overlay to the applicant Loris Mimic for Harbor Freight Tools, subject to the conditional approval list listed below under conditions of approval, including any additions as may be identified by the Common Council.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Item number 4.2 is consider request for a conditional use permit for an indoor sales or service land use at 2135 East Geneva Street in the Business Regional BR zoning district. Applicant Delavan, Black Bull Fireworks LLC. Alderman Beazer?
I would like to make a motion to approve the proposed resolution and the conditional use findings listed below under conditional use findings, and issuance of limited conditional use permit for indoor sales or service land use for the property at 2135 East Geneva Street, located in the Business Regional BR zoning district, to the applicant Deanna Delamat, Black Bull Fireworks LLC, subject to the conditions of approval listed below under the conditions of approval, including any additions as may be identified by the Common Council.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Item 5.1 is consider Tonka filter panel upgrade proposal from Electronics for the replacement of the control panel and program for the backwash filter process at a cost of $37,635. Alderwoman Deschner Brandt?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is located at the central treatment plant. There was a malfunction that was not budgeted for, but water is not being treated at the same level of quality, so the upgrade is necessary. Nick is here, I'm sure, if we have any other questions that you want to discuss. But I would make a motion to approve the proposal from Altronex for panel program replacement at central treatment plant for a cost of $37,635.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Is there any reason we don't get 3 bids, just out of curiosity? I mean, is it because,
So this would be considered a specialized piece of equipment, so there's not a lot of contractors that deal with this type of panel. William & Reed is the contractor that's for the original Tonka filter. It has been recently sold 2 years ago to Carita, is the new owner of the Tonka filter. LWL is who we currently use for all of our SCADA controls for our water utility. So it'll mesh well with what we currently have, and it allows us to have more control over that filter.
yeah, that I agree with. It's just, I read our purchasing policy, anything, over 25,000, you probably should get 3 bids in the future. I mean, because that's what we do it, But anyways, the motion passed.
Yep, there's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, we'll have a roll call.
Alderman Christoph.
Yes.
Alderwoman Deschner Brandt. Yes. Alderman Slazak.
Yes.
Alderman Roseman.
Yes.
Alderman Beazer.
Yes.
Alderman Sallee.
Yes.
Motion passes. Item 5.2 is consider proposal from McQueen Equipment for the purchase of a Vector 2100i combination sewer cleaning truck at a total cost of $406,031 and a net cost after trade-in of current unit of $396,031. Alderwoman Deschner Brandt.
This came through the Finance Committee too. The old piece of equipment was purchased in 1994 and has started to get toward the end of its life. The city was hoping to make a joint purchase with other communities, but none were in need or interested. Nick is currently looking into the possibility of leasing this equipment in the future, and again, I'm sure he could answer any additional questions you had. With that, I'd like to make a motion to approve this proposal from McQueen Equipment with the alternate HMX suspension and the hydraulic folding pipe racks safety concern, and 3 warranty options, electrical engine components, at the total cost of $406,031 and a net cost after trade-in sale to the Village of Sharon, with the sale of the unit to the Village of Sharon being subject to the execution of the agreement approved in form by the city attorney, in which Village of Sharon commits to the purchase of the unit as is, its transfer once the city's replacement unit is received, and payment of portion of the cost in advance of the city officially declining the trade options offered by McQueen Equipment of $396,031.
There's a motion, is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second, any further discussion?
Yeah,
Alderman Purcell?
okay. The old truck. What are we doing with the old truck?
Denise, did you wanna?
Yeah, and Nick can also comment on this.
Oh, I'm
We,
sorry.
when we bid, we asked both of the individuals who were pricing the new vehicle to provide for a trade-in. They both indicated they would do a trade-in at $10,000. Nick did some research on on auction sites to see what trucks of similar nature were going. They were coming in, I think, around $6,000 to $8,000 on those. So our recommendation was that we accept the trade-in of the unit, and that was our original recommendation. After that recommendation was made, there was indication from the Village of Sharon that they would wish to potentially look at buying the unit from us. And this is, what we did then was indicate the one concern is that we would not be giving that truck to Sharon until our new one comes in, which is around 3 or 4 months. It could potentially be 3 or 4 months, depending on how long it's going to be to manufacture or to have it delivered. And so we indicated the only way we would do that is if we had an agreement to make sure that they were guaranteeing payment and a portion of it up front, so that we would be made whole. I think, again, our the unit's old. There are some issues with it. Our concern was that the trade-in was probably our preferred option. The Sharon understands the condition of the unit, and they're willing to take those risks and would wish to purchase it. That purchase would be subject to an agreement that we've drafted and that the city attorney has reviewed that would require 50% of that money be paid to us now, and that they guarantee that they're going to accept it. And for some reason, if they did not, then that they would be forfeiting that, and or at least the amount up to the $10,000. I think this is consistent with intergovernmental cooperation. As as we recall, we had Lake Geneva who had an ambulance that they ended up donating to us to ensure our needs. We would not recommend this in this case, but we felt that if a community is coming from us and they're going to make us whole in terms of what we get as for a trade-in, that at least consideration should be given to that, as long as they don't come back and say if the motor falls out of it 2 weeks after they have it, they have to accept it as is. And I know there is some issues with the tank, and they should be aware of it.
Nick, did you want to add anything? Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry, but I propose that it should go on the state and go as a bid. I think we can get more money for the vehicle. I really do. That's my opinion. I'm a mechanic. I've done this my whole life. No, I think it needs to go out. If Sharon wants to bid on it, they can bid on it. It's Darien, whoever wants to bid on it, they can bid on it. But it needs to go to the state surplus. It needs to be on there. You'd be surprised what you might get for it. That's just my opinion.
Can I add something?
Yep.
Absolutely. Alderman
I've been
Plaisant?
in the trucking business my whole life, and sales with trucks and cars, and Tommy's right, you could probably get more money
it seems low for a piece of equipment that has that kind of use for it.
So, there's a couple of things that I know about state bid. First off, it goes up to auction, and then it sits there for how long?
Usually it's about a month,
Usually,
I think.
for specialized equipment, that's still gonna be based off of someone having a direct need for it, and it fits in line with their budget, and they've considered it, and they're looking for those opportunities. So the question that I have is, how long are we willing to continue to maintain this while it waits for potentially being sold at on an online auction site or on a state auction site?
I don't think it'd be long at all.
That's my first question. We don't think, but we don't know. So we have to operate under the fact that we need to have equipment in working order in order to do the job that it needs to be done. So that's just something that I'm thinking about now in terms of time frame. The second thing is, I have a question regarding the leasing option that you mentioned. Is that leasing the vehicle, or is that leasing that vehicle to outside communities, generating revenue from it?
You were talking about outside communities, right?
Right. So originally, when we were looking at this vehicle, there was at least one other community that was looking at a vehicle at the same time. And so our hope was that we could encourage a joint purchase that to more effectively utilize taxpayers' money. That was not possible, just their needs and our needs did not match up. So what we are still looking at is whether there's a possibility in the future to potentially lease the equipment to other communities. But with that, we'd really need to be concerned because it's a $400,000 piece of equipment. Jointly owning it and both having a risk is one thing. If we're going to lease it, we may only want to lease it if we're actually operating it, in which case it would really have to work to our favor. So that is something that we'd look at and see, but I think we're a little bit more concerned with that type of piece of equipment, that how that lease would have to be structured and whether we'd want to be operating it if they're only using it on a limited basis.
Okay.
So it might work out really well if we are looking to increase staff, but not a full position, where if we have enough lease or several communities leasing it, it might allow us to move forward with the position, but having half the position paid for through the leases. But I think that's probably a couple years down the line.
Half of the salary position yearly, or half of the, is that what we're talking about?
So the question is if we only would lease it, if we would operate it, then we really just need to make sure we're very tight in terms of staffing. At this point, I couldn't recommend that we lease the equipment with a person because we have a hard time getting everything done that we need to get done. We have been working on with a reduced staff, and we do it effectively, but I don't think we would want to do that to lease and use one of our people at this point. I think it would stretch us too thin. But there's always that opportunity in the future that if you could add up staff by maybe supporting that staff position by taking some of their time and having them generate revenues through a lease arrangement with other communities, that might be something that could be considered.
Okay. So a ballpark figure for leasing that would probably be what, 20?
We really haven't calculated.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that hasn't been worked out. It's
No.
still a consideration, something to think about.
If
My
it
next
made
question
sense.
is, could that same return in terms of leasing be generated from our current vehicle? Is there any interest whatsoever? Has there been any interest whatsoever in leasing our current piece of equipment?
I would not recommend that. We would have to continue to maintain it, and it is at its, it's again, 94, so.
17 years old.
Yeah.
It's 30.
Oh, yeah, 30.
Yeah, and,
It's over
and,
30.
and the tank, there's gonna need to be repairs to the tank. It doesn't make sense, and it's a large unit that we also then have to find space for to maintain. I would personally not recommend that we maintain this unit, I think clearly we need to declare it surplus and, you know, and seek to sell it. I mean, if we want to sell it on auction, that's fine. What we wanted to make sure, though, is that we felt that from what we did in terms of our research, that the trade-in was a good option, and the trade-in, they guarantee it right now, so if something happens to it, they still would give us their $10,000. And that's why we would never have even recommended consideration of other options if they were not guaranteeing that same thing, that we were insured of the $10,000.
Currently, we have some partnerships and reciprocal arrangements with the town of Sharon, correct? Or is this something new?
With the Village of Sharon,
Or,
we
sorry,
do
the
not
Village of
have,
Sharon.
we do not have any relationships that we, you know, we don't have I mean, they all work together in terms of fire. We still, in fire and EMS, so we back each other up. But we don't have any intergovernmental agreements as we do with some other communities, or auto aid agreements, which we have some with some other communities.
Okay. Well, considering that this purchase would be made first and then the agreement with the town or putting it to state auction, that still wouldn't impact our ability to get the new vehicle.
It doesn't, what is impacted is that the company we're purchasing the new vehicle from, once you place the order, we have to tell them whether we're taking the trade or not, whether we're doing the trade or not.
Okay,
That
and-
was really what the driving force is, because if we take the vehicle and say we're not going to take the trade-in, then we lose that opportunity for that.
Okay. And how much were they gonna give us on trade?
10,000.
Okay, this is so easy. It's $10,000. I mean, I'll buy the thing for 10 grand. I'll put it in my backyard.
10,001.
I mean, we put it on surplus, see where it goes. If we make an extra 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 grand, it's there. We're gonna get the new truck regardless.
My only concern is the time frame.
Any other?
Time's an issue right now. I mean, if it's 30 days, 60 days, it don't matter.
Well,
If we get more money for it, we get more money for it.
ordering the truck requires a commitment in terms of trade-in. Denise just mentioned it. So we can't
So
order it and wait.
we could buy the truck. I mean, I don't think the staff really, I mean, they're open to, it was felt based on what we had looked at in terms of what we thought we could get, that the best option was to trade it in and not also have that, you know, that concern if something happens to the vehicle by the time we're trading it in. But I think we could buy the vehicle outright, and if you want to dispose of it in a different manner, that's up to the council. That's fine. I think we're open to either way. It's just that we understand that we will not have, once we order the vehicle, we won't have the trade-in option, which at this point, if you know, that's, if there, you know, if there's a chance that we can get more money the other way, we'll.
It's gonna go more than 10 grand. I can guarantee you that.
The tanks rot from the inside out. That's what I'm worried about. You can't weld them up.
But there's so many, I mean, like I said, put it on there. Any other municipality, if they want to auction or they want to bid on it, they can bid on it. You might get someone from up north that says, hey, I want it for my sewers. I want it.
They might get it for 5.
Yeah, that's the problem.
No, it's up to you guys.
So, Mr. Mayor, there's a motion
Yep,
and
I
a
was just
second.
gonna say that.
Yeah,
There's a
second.
motion and a second, and, I don't know how we'd like to proceed. I don't know if Alderman Purcell is, making an amendment to that motion, whether that would be accepted by,
We're
the
getting,
author
we're
of
getting,
the
we're getting the
person.
new truck regardless.
Yep.
Let's put this one on, the Wisconsin thing, let it sit for a month, see where it goes. That's what we should do.
What I would suggest, Mr. Mayor, is
Mhm.
perhaps a vote on the original motion,
Maybe
and then it gets voted up or down, and
Okay.
then if it gets voted down, then a new motion can be made,
maybe?
is how I
Okay.
would propose
That'd be
it,
cleaner? Okay.
procedurally, to make it clean.
If there's no further discussion, then we'd have, is everyone clear on the motion? The
Yes.
original motion? We'll have a roll call on the original motion in second.
Alderwoman Deshner Brandt.
Yes.
Alderman Playback.
Yes.
Alderman Wilson.
Yes.
Alderman Beezer.
No.
Alderman Solis.
No.
Alderman Purcell.
Yes.
Tom, can you do any, work to that?
So the motion
at your
passes.
place that would refurb it a little?
I'm sorry,
Can you do anything to it? at your
Motion
place
passes
that
then?
would
Okay.
refurb it a little to get more money out of it?
yeah,
Alright, that's what I'm thinking.
yeah.
Well, the motion passes then, and we will move on to item 5.3, which is confirm purchase of the sodium chloride through WisDOT.
Okay, and this would fill the need for our salt for the 2021-2022 winter season. So I would move to formally acknowledge the enrollment of the city in Delavan in the municipal agreement to purchase sodium chloride through the Wisconsin DOT Cooperative Purchasing Program for a seasonal fill amount of no less than 600 tons of salt for the 2021-2022 winter season.
There's a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Second.
There's a motion and a second, any further discussion?
Just a question.
Yes.
Do we rate this based off of the amount of salt that we currently have and how that changes? Do we have a set quantity that we're shooting for, or is this a set dollar amount that we do every year?
Mark, you want to address that?
Yes, and it depends on what's in the budget for joint 2022 or what we're hoping you approve for the budget for 2022.
Okay.
All right. Any other,
Welcome comes over and buys a little salt from you guys too.
any other discussion? Seeing and hearing none, we'll have a roll call.
Alderman Playback.
Yes.
Alderman Wilson.
Yes.
Alderman Beezer.
Yes.
Alderman Solis.
Yes.
Alderman Purcell.
Yes.
Alderwoman Deshner Grant. Yes.
Motion passes. Item 5.4 is consider change order to the 2021 street and utility reconstruction contract with Payne and Dolan Incorporated for repaving a portion of Hobbs Drive for an amount not to exceed $62,000. Alderwoman Deshner Brandt.
And this came before the Finance Committee as well. The change order would allow for the repaving of Hobbs Drive north of Condon Park. I would make a motion to approve the change order to the Payne and Dolan Incorporated contract in the amount not to exceed $62,000 for the repaving of the portion of Hobbs Drive from a point east of Wright Street to west of Hallberg Street.
Second?
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, may we have a roll call?
Alderman Wilson.
Yes.
Alderman Beezer.
Yes.
Alderman Solis.
Yes.
Alderman Purcell.
Yes.
Alderwoman Deshner Grant. Yes. Alderman Playback.
Yes.
Motion passes. 5.5 is consider 2021-2023 multi-year agreement extension with J&M Displays for Fireworks. Alderwoman Deshner Brandt.
Okay, this came through the Finance Committee as well. This is a multi-year agreement extension for 2021 to 2023 fireworks displays for our 4th of July celebration. So, that being said, I would move to approve the multi-year agreement extension with J&M Displays for the 2021-2023 years.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Where are we gonna shoot them off?
Well, this is just the purchase contract. We'll keep working on that. Any other further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, may we have a roll call?
Alderman Beezer.
Yes.
Alderman Solis.
Yes.
Alderman Purcell.
Yes.
Alderwoman Deshner Grant. Yes. Alderman Playback.
Yes.
Alderman Wilson.
Yes.
Motion passes. Item 5.6 is consider Avenue Insights financial payroll and utility billing software contract renewal. Alderwoman Deshner Brandt.
This is also through the Finance Committee. This is a software package the city has had for 30 years. A request was made for a one-year renewal in order to look at other options. I'm sure Kelly could answer more questions on this if you have them. But at this time, I would go ahead and move to approve a one-year renewal for the new vision software with Avenue Insights at a price not to exceed $29,074.68.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, may we have a roll call?
Yes.
Alderman Casal.
Yes.
Alderwoman Deshner Brandt. Yes. Alderman Spizak.
Yes.
Alderman Wilson.
Yes.
Alderman Beezer.
Yes.
Motion passes. 5.7 is consider amendments to the existing purchasing policy. Denise? Highlight this? I don't know.
Yes, I think, you have before you modifications to our purchasing policy. The original drive for this was that it was discovered that our original draft had one word that basically impacted the authority of the council to move forward with purchases if they were not recommended by the finance committee. So the original intent was to correct that, to make sure that the council retains the authority to make those final decisions, and recognize that our committees are serve in a recommended capacity, recommend actions, but that the council ultimately has the authority to make a decision that may not be consistent with them, although that does not happen often. In doing that, we did feel that we needed to look at the policy. It's been in place for a little over a year, to just see if there was any other cleanups that needed to be made. And so the draft before you also cleans up some of the other, some other sections that bring it more in line with what actually occurs in terms of our process. I think in one of them was quotes, and it didn't provide as much flexibility as we use when we do get quotes, that we are allowed to look at more like life costing, so it's not always just the cost factor that's considered. It did provide some additional language for local vendors and some additional flexibility in terms of giving additional consideration when it's allowed under statute for local vendors. And that was reviewed extensively at the Finance Committee meeting, and some modifications to that provision were made at that point and have been incorporated into the changes that are being presented. And also it was recommended that we do include a reference to our responsible bidder ordinance that was adopted, so that has also been added. So I don't know if there's any specific questions on the changes. I can hopefully can answer those, but this will, I think, the changes are, again, consistent with changes that we made since then, and also clarifications to make sure that our policies are following the procedures that we have in place.
Thank you, Denise. This did come through Finance and Alderwoman Deshner Brandt.
Yeah, I would go ahead and make a motion to approve the purchasing policy as amended.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Item 5.8 is approval of bills. Warrant 21-03. Alderwoman Deshner Brandt.
I would make a motion to approve warrant 21-03.
There is a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Item number 6 is General Operations Committee. 6.1 is consider Class A fermented malt beverage and intoxicating liquor license for R&S Wine and Liquor LLC at 832 East Geneva Street, Delavan, Guadalajara. Calhoun is the agent. I'm sure I didn't pronounce it exactly correct, and I apologize.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Item 6.2 is consider approval of the temporary Class B retailers license for the Friends of the Phoenix Park Band Shell Free Summer Concerts for 2021.
I move to approve the Friends of the Phoenix Band Shell application for temporary Class B retailers license to allow them to sell fermented malt beverages for their free summer concerts from May 1st to May 22nd, May 29th, June 5th, June 12th, 13th, June 19th, June 25th through the 27th, June 3rd and 4th, July 10th, and so on.
Jesus.
Yeah.
What's on
There's a motion.
As written.
There's a motion.
Second.
Is there a second? Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Item 6.3 is consider approval of the Delavan Darien Rotary Club's application for a temporary Class B retailer's license for the May 22nd wine walk.
I'll make a move, we approve the Delavan Darien Rotary Club's application for a temporary Class B retailer's license for the May 22nd wine walk to cover the participating locations listed on the related report attachment.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Item 6.4 is consider the temporary expansion of the licensed premise at American Legion Post 95 to allow for participation in the Lions Club Antique Truck Show and related activities on May 22nd, 2021.
I'll make a motion to approve the temporary expansion of the licensed premise for American Legion Post 95 to include outdoor areas of the organization's entire property in conjunction with the Lion Club's Antique Truck Show and related activities on May 22nd, 2021.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Item 6.5 is consider amendment to the municipal code section 2-2-5, parent A, parent 1, relating to the finance committee.
I'll make a motion to approve an ordinance amending municipal code section 2-2-5A1 relating to the finance committee, further clarifying the responsibilities of that committee.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Item 6.6 is consider ordinance amending height and material requirements for fences in street yard zoning setbacks.
I'll move to adopt the proposed ordinance which will amend the requirements for fencing located in the front yard zoning setback within the downtown zoning overlay area.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Item number 7 is election of council president and vice president nominations by council members. Is there any nominations at this time?
Normally, the president is the senior person on the council, so I'll nominate Carrie Deschner-Brandt for president.
I second that.
There's a motion and a second. Do I need to read it off 3 times? Or any other nominations, I suppose?
I would probably say any other nomination.
Yeah, I guess that's the protocol, so. Any other nominations for a second time? Are there any other nominations for a third time? Seeing and hearing none, there was a motion and a second. All those in favor of Carrie Deschner-Brandt serving as council president signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Congratulations.
Get a new salary.
No more money.
You're not getting paid for it, just so you know.
With that, are there any nominations for vice president of the city council?
I would nominate Matt Beazer.
I'd second.
There's a motion. Any other nominations?
I'll nominate Tommy Purcell.
Okay. Are there any other nominations? All right, well, how would you suggest that we take,
Was there a second to the nomination?
Oh, I'll second Tommy.
okay,
There you go.
and I think I said it already, but any other nominations? We have 2 nominations.
So I would think, Mr. Mayor, we would vote on both candidates, and whoever gets the most votes would win.
Okay.
There's ways to do it. You can vote by raising hands. You could, it has to be public. It can't be a private vote, because the public needs to know.
I got a quarter.
Flip card.
Unfortunately, that doesn't work.
All right, so we'll take the first nomination, which is Alderman Beazer. So we'll have a roll call at this point for Alderman Beazer.
Alderman Purcell.
No.
Alderwoman Dashner Grant.
Yes.
Alderman Playback.
Yes.
Alderman Wilson.
No.
Alderman Beazer.
This is gonna be good.
Yes.
Alderman Solis.
Yes.
Okay.
I think we're done.
I really debated putting that to Ryan.
Hey,
Well, I've been here 20, I don't know that it's been that competitive.
I won't hold it against you.
All right, well, congratulations, Alderman Beazer.
Yes, congratulations.
Congratulations.
With that, we'll move on to item, let's see, number 8. 8.1, City Planning Commission for a 1-year term. Majority vote is required. Council Representative succeeding Matt Beazer is Matt Beazer. Succeeding myself is myself. May we have a roll call? Or all those in favor, aye, we can make it easy. All those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. 8.2 is Development Review Board. Council Representative succeeding Matt Beazer to a 1-year term is Matt Beazer. Planning Commission member succeeding Corey Kunine. 3-year term first is Corey Kunine. Is there a motion?
Do you need a motion?
I think that one's a majority vote.
Majority vote.
Majority vote.
Yeah. So,
I would think, Mr. Mayor, they could just vote on it.
just vote,
without
okay.
a motion.
All right.
Yeah.
All those in favor signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Appointments. 9.1 is Mayor's appointment of city officers upon recommendation of the city administrator, subject to council approval. Majority vote required. City treasurer is Jennifer Weezy. Director of Public Works is Mark Wendorf. All those in favor of those appointments signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Mayor's, 9.2 is mayor's appointment of city attorney, subject to council approval. Stephen Cook is Stephen Cook. All those in favor signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, members of the council.
Thank you for your continued service. 9.3 is mayor's appointment of weed commissioner Mike Zymans. No vote necessary. 9.4 is mayor's appointments of other persons to council committees, designation of committee chairpersons, and vice chairpersons, no vote necessary. So Public Works, Alderwoman Deschner Brandt, Alderman Solis, and Alderman Purcell. Finance is myself, Alderwoman Deschner Brandt, and Alderman Solis. General Operations is Alderman Wilson, Alderman Beezer, Alderman Plazak. 9.5 is a mayor's appointment of Town of Delavan Lake Committee voting members, subject to council approval. Majority vote required. Succeeding Ron Henriot is Matt Beezer. All those in favor of the motion, or all those in favor signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. 9.6 is mayor's appointments of citizens to committees, boards, and commission effective May 1st, subject to council approval. Public Works Committee, a 2-year term, succeeding Gary Stebnitz is Kevin Armstrong. General Operations, succeeding Calvin Square is Calvin Square. And Finance Committee, succeeding Kevin Armstrong is Kevin Armstrong. Planning Commission, succeeding Chris Lindloff is Chris Lindloff. Succeeding Kevin Armstrong is Deb Alder. Communications Commission, 3-year term. Succeeding Brian Levins is Brian Levins. Succeeding Joe Gerhardt is Joe Gerhardt. Board of Appeals, 3-year term. Succeeding Chris Lindloff is Chris Lindloff. We had an alternate that had been vacant. I'm proposing Deb Alder, and we still have one alternate vacant, and I've got a couple requests out there. So if there's no objections, we could take all of those at once. If there is an objection, we can take it one at a time. If there's no objections, all those in favor of those appointments signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Actually, if I move over to the next page, Delbrook Golf Commission, succeeding Jackie Bush is Jackie Bush. Succeeding Scott Neuenhuis is Ron Henriot. Downtown Project Management Team, succeeding Peter Ole is Peter Ole. We had a vacant resident member, and I am proposing that Celine Henriot serve in that capacity. Succeeding Garrett Cheney is Garrett Cheney. Parks and Recreation, succeeding Travis Mole is Travis Mole. Succeeding Melissa Davis is Melissa Davis. Police and Fire Commission, a 5-year term. Succeeding Al Seaman is Ricardo Rodriguez. Succeeding Mike Reiner is Mike Reiner, and we had a vacant term, and that would be Ron Henriot. Aaron Library Board, we had a vacancy there, and I'm proposing Joey Hoover Simon. Tourism Commission, a 1-year term, succeeding Dave Securis is Dave Securis. Succeeding Lori Wutke is Lori Wutke. Succeeding Matthew Olson is Matthew Olson. Mayors, well, actually, yeah. So all those in favor of those appointments signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. 9.7 is mayor's appointment of Board of Appeals chairperson. Succeeding Will Kahabka is Will Kahabka. Mayor's appointment of the Planning Commission chairperson. Succeeding myself is myself. These are no votes necessary. 9.9 is mayor's appointment of alderpersons to boards and commissions subject to council approval for 1-year terms. Delbrook Golf Commission is Alderman Purcell. Lake Comus Protection and Rehabilitation District, myself. Park and Recreation Commission, Alderman Purcell. Library Board of Trustees, Alderwoman Deschner Brandt. Police and Fire Commission, Alderman Wilson. Communications Commission, Alderman Solis. Community Development Authority, Alderman Beezer and Alderman Purcell. Tourism Commission, Alderman Solis and Alderman Plazak. All those in favor of those signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. 9.10 is mayor's appointment of alderpersons to task force and DDPMT for one-year terms. No vote necessary. Task force on homelessness and poverty, Alderman Wilson. Public safety strategic planning task force, Alderman Wilson. Downtown project management team, Alderwoman Deschner Brandt. Moving on to item number 10, approval by council resolution. 10.1 is official publication of the, is Delavan Enterprise. And move, is there a motion to?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, there's a
I'd
motion.
second.
And a second. Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Item 10.2 is the official depository, First National Bank and Trust Company, State of Wisconsin Local Government Investment Pool. Is there a motion
So moved.
to approve that?
So moved. Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I have a question.
Yes.
Sorry, I don't mean to go back, but in
Oh.
9.9,
Did I miss something?
well, I just want to be clear.
9.9.
You appointed yourself to do the Lake Comus protection?
Yes. I currently serve there.
Can we do that? Are we allowed to do that?
Yes,
Okay.
Yeah,
based on the amendments that were made to the ordinances.
Oh,
2
the
years
initial
ago.
ones. Okay,
Yes, sir.
all right, thank you. That's
Okay.
it. I just wanted to make sure we're good.
Yeah. Moving on to item 11, other business. 11.1 is consider approval of the naming of the baseball, softball field at Delavan Fest Park. Is there a motion?
I move to approve the naming of the field at Delavan Fest Park to Farrell Avenue, on Farrell Avenue.
I second it.
There's
The
a
recommendation.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
We're gonna call it what?
Harvey.
Harvey,
Harvey,
Harvey.
we'll go back.
Gonzalez, yeah,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah,
We're trying, so the camera's rolling, we've got people in the attendance here. I was, under further discussion, I was approached by someone in the community with the suggestion of renaming Fest Field in honor of Navis Harvey Gonzalez. I thought it was a very deserving and a very deserving recognition, and I think he, for those that knew Harvey, know that how committed he was to our youth, especially baseball, and I think it's a very fitting tribute in remembrance of him personally and the contributions that he made to the city of Delavan. I'm very, I thought it was important to still go through the Park and Rec Committee to get their approval, and it was a unanimous approval. So although if this is a public meeting and the cameras are rolling and we have people in attendance, we're trying to keep it a special recognition for a later date to be worked out when there'd be an actual unveiling. So I'm going to ask if you guys can keep it under wraps somewhat, because again, we do want his family and close friends. There's also, in conjunction with a baseball tournament in honor of Harvey and raising funds for cancer funds, that's going to take place in early June, and so we're looking at doing an official, assuming that this all passes. I think we actually had the vote. I went back to discussion just to clarify. But just for the record, again, hopefully you guys can keep it to a minimum here, and we can have a nice outpouring of support and recognition for Harvey and dedicating the field. So with that, I think there was a motion and a second and an actual vote, but just to be clear, all those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Item number 12 is public comment. Citizens may address the chair at this portion of the meeting. Please limit your comments to once for no more than 2 minutes. Is there anyone that would like to make comments? Jack, you want to carry us out here?
Okay, Jack Brady again. Us Delavanites have been hunkered down in our residences for more than anyone cares to remember. Cabin fever is an understatement. You all know me as a big advocate for parks and recreation activity. That's going to be very important to us for 2021. We have to emphasize that we have to get out, use our parks, get fresh air, get rid of the stress that's been building up, and believe me, it's building up. I got a lot of surly people on Laurel Heights. We're all watching Tower Park take shape, and it's doing very well. We're going to use that to be sure. So what I want to emphasize is that when the fountain is running and the flowers are planted, I would like everybody to get out of their homes, go to a park, and I'm sure that the Parks Committee is going to do their level best to give us the best in entertainment, the best kind of movies we can have space for handicapped people out there, have space, have a good John over there for handicapped people to use, and everything else being equal, we all need to watch out for each other's health as far as COVID-19 is concerned. So this is really a plea for Parks and Recreation to get the job done for 2021. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jack.
Can I add something?
Yeah, before I go to you, I'd be remiss if I didn't. I'm glad you brought up the Parks and Rec, and on that note, a great way to get out to the parks for anyone that's interested in getting out in the parks here and on this coming Saturday is the annual Adopt a Park cleanup, and we've already had about, I think, a little over 20 volunteers that have signed up through the city Park and Rec department. I appreciate staff that have gotten the word out about that. So a great way to get out and enjoy the parks is helping us clean them up and keeping them beautiful after a long winter. So anyone that you know who's interested in joining us on Saturday from 9 to noon, we welcome that. Please sign up again, and then there'll be a little get-together at the very end with beverages and snacks. So on that note, what's that?
Is there a meeting place?
Well, if you go through the city Park and Rec program, or if you don't have access to the internet for whatever reason, I know staff would be more than happy to sign you up personally. We've identified 10 different parks like we did last year and looking for about 10 volunteers in each park to start out there. Just go to that park, start there, and then many of them won't take exactly 3 hours, so we're encouraging people to identify another park that they'd like to go to after that initial one. And then again, importantly, at noon, right after that, please join us under the Lions Club shelter in Veterans Park for snacks and beverages. So, thanks, Jack. And Alderman Plazak, you had...
I've been volunteering at the band shell for the last 15 years, and we have a very great set of groups coming out to play music this year. We're all chomping at the bit to get out there and open the park up, and we're hoping that everybody's going to be coming out because it's going to be real nice this year.
Everything's going to make a big difference.
Yes, and we have it all separated by 6 feet for people. There's markers all over the ground. We try and keep that in the food and the beverage lines and at the bathrooms. They're really taking the time to make it nice for everybody.
Well, I
So
say this because it looks like COVID is going to get better under control. Hopefully, the variances is what we're most afraid of. So let's get the job done.
That's right.
Exactly.
And normally, just so everyone's watching here at home or here, we normally wouldn't engage back and forth in the public comments.
That's
But
right.
I'd be remiss to not bring up, I should have done it earlier in the meeting. But anyone else that would like to make public comments at this time? If not, item number 13 is Suggested future agenda items. Are there any future agenda items at this time? If not, as I've often said in the past, if you have an item, anyone on the council, please let the city administrator or myself know, or the clerk, and we can certainly put that on the agenda for future council meetings. With that, item number 14 is recess to closed session. 14.1 is pursuant to Wisconsin statutes 19.85, parent 1, parent E, deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session regarding impact, Ellis Farms, county foreclosures, boxed and burlap development agreement, Ann Street development agreement, pre-annexation agreements, Delavan Darien School District Resource Officer IGA, DLSD agreement, Spring Grove Cemetery IGA, Connect Communities / Chamber of Commerce agreement, and remaining in closed session under 14.2 pursuant to Wisconsin statutes 19.85, parent 1, parent C, considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibilities regarding employee performance updates. With that, we've got a lot to talk about. Is there a motion to go into closed session?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by... Oh, I'm sorry, roll call. May we have a roll call?
Alderman Costello.
Yes.
Alderwoman Destor Grant.
Yes.
Alderman Playback.
Yes.
Alderman Wilson.
Yes.
Alderman Beezer.
Yes.
Alderman Silly.
Yes.
Motion passes, and we'll take a 5-minute break and let Bill break down. And